Hey gang, welcome back to the big board, etc., etc. Champion Hill, the Hill of Death, an American Civil War conflict, and that's a dog barking. Stand by. All right, let's see, where was I? So yes, having a look at this thing, post-play, quick six-turn scenario. It's kind of the meat of the battle scenario is the one that I chose. And look, the short version of this is that I think the Shattered Union series is a nice refresh or revision of this, you know, the other Herman Luttman Evolutions the Blind Sword series, right? So I think this is pretty interesting for a couple of reasons. So let me just pause my damn phone. Unfortunately, we've got Slack messages going off here, so let's do that. Two things. First, the command stuff, right? One of the things that's different here is that for, say, McClendon here, rather than having one card or two cards because they have, a better command rating and they get to activate more often. Let's see if I can find another one of his cards here real quick. Here we go. So you're going to be given each turn an opportunity to put one or more of these cards in here into the draw deck. So using the A Most Fearful Sacrifice version of the activation versus chits, you're going to put these cards in. And for my scenario, a lot of the time we only had one card in, so I would have to choose. Did I want to have McClendon run an attack order, a defend order, or in this case, this is a maneuver order, which we did quite a bit of. So that's slightly different from the other systems, the other systems that are sort of out and about, right? We in the other ones you'll have a series of activation types that you can do, whether you're activating a brigade or a division, et cetera, and then you'll choose an order that you want to run. Here, because you're only going to get to activate once, you're selecting in advance, so it's making you think a little bit more about what you're going to do for the turn. So it's giving a abstracted vision or order presentation. So you've got to decide at the beginning of the turn, what do I want to do? How do I want to do it? Where am I trying to go? Versus playing the turn, pulling the chit, and then going, what do I want to do? Right? So that, to me, sort of models that order presentation concept, the order issuing concept, and the delays in those orders, and the circumstances changing and stuff like that, without making it random either, right? Because you've made a choice about your activities you want to execute over the period of the turn, which I believe I would have to check now. I think it's an hour, but let me just pull the rules out and see real quick. And it varies by title as well. So that's one of the first things. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. It doesn't. Yeah, 30 minutes to an hour. So it's going to depend. So yeah, it makes perfect sense to me that you would, in the scope of an hour long turn, you're going to pick an order and you're going to have to get that order to the guys, have that order presented, organized, executed, accepted, and all that sort of fun stuff. So rather than rolling dice and doing all that sort of business, all you're going to do is say, this is what I'm going to do for this turn, and you're going to have to wear it, right? So I like that idea. So that was the first concept that I liked. Second concept I liked, let me see if I can get this bigger chart out here. I really like this approach to combat, and it's identical in the main. It's identical in the main to A Most Fearful Sacrifice, that system. And let me just see real quickly here if I can find something to reference to. Bear with me. You know, the most fearful sacrifice is the Black Swan system, which is derivative of, or a once again a revision of, the Blind Sword system. Okay, so I'm trying to use the right terms for the systems, but to me, they're all fundamentally the same from a mechanical standpoint. How you execute combat, how you move. It's the activations that are different, and then some of the there's little bits, we'll call it little bits, little bits around how everything all gets drawn together and all that sort of fun stuff. And most of the time, what I'm seeing is that those changes are aimed at speeding up play, making play more refined, easier to understand, and less counters on the map, and just getting immersed in the choices that you need to be making for the gameplay. Now, at some point, there's going to be a level of abstraction that you then start to winnow away or lose the immersive content. We're not there yet. I would say this is as far as I would want to go, and not being an ACW expert, right? This is as abstract as I would want to go. Here, I feel like we've kind of hit that kind of sweet spot, and I think the Black Swan system is fine as well. That sweet spot, similar to Hexasim's Rising Eagles series, where there are some assumptions that are made about the capabilities of your brigade and regimental commanders, and that they know what they're doing when it comes to facing and all that sort of business. And the order issuing and acceptance and retrieval and all those sort of fun things, that's taken care of by the system, and the nuance and the detail and the flavor of the game is brought out in the movement and the combat mechanics. And so similarly here, I think the combat system here does the battle constructs justice, right? This chart is fantastic because I've got everything here I need in one, except for the little definitions that I've got. You probably can't see that because of the shadow. But it's just that from the rule book, what these mean, right? X and Y. I choose either or result. X plus Y is both, and then your option there, right? This is the most fearful sacrifice. You can see it's identical, right? Now, I have not confirmed that... okay, so see, this goes up to three column shifts. This one goes up to 3 column shifts. This one goes up to 5 column shifts. So more variability here and different breakdowns. So this is 10 plus was the max, and 19 plus is the max here, because there are a significant number. That's the wrong counter bag. There are a significant number of units that are hefty in this game. There are 7s and 9s and 10s and 12s for combat value here that boost the odds, right? Or boost the fire strength points up pretty significantly versus the counters from which I'm not going to pull out before I don't want to start mixing bags up. From a most fearful sacrifice. One other key difference is in the combat results table, you get this concept of a close fight here in a melee, right? And similar things can happen here, but it's called a brutal melee, and the result is right here on the table. Whereas this close fight result, we would then need to refer to the summation of the dice that were rolled originally and what the net result was. I know you can't read it. Don't worry about it. You can see it online if you really want to go get it, have a look at it. But look, you can see there's all these different results, and it swings from massively favoring the defender to massively favoring the attacker, and that gives you just this variability aspect. Now, in this instance, less results. There's only 4 here, right? So less variability, less randomness, which I think if I was ever going to have an issue with the Black Swan system, would be that, hey, let's ease up on the number of random things that are occurring in that particular system for that particular battle. The 3 days of Gettysburg. Now, well, maybe that tons of research was done, and it accurately models the craziness that occurred. But it just feels like there's lots of opportunity. Doesn't necessarily happen, but there's lots of opportunity in A Most Fearful Sacrifice for lots of random stuff to happen. Whereas here, the randomness is limited merely to your dice, the order in which the cards are drawn, and that's it, right? That's probably, I think that's it. So that would be the majority of it. Now, so the gameplay, as I think maybe I haven't said anything yet, but I'm at 10 minutes, so I'm going to try and wrap this up. The gameplay was very smooth, very quick. It took me 2.5 hours or so to play, and that included quite a few rule lookups because I was cross-referencing and making sure I wasn't conflating rules coming from another Civil War game or from one of Luttman's other systems. So this, I think, is a fast-playing game, engaging. It's got a simplicity to it that will allow for beginner play, I believe. If you found a new wargamer or potential wargamer and they have an interest in the American Civil War, this is probably a great starting place, and then you can migrate them through the rest of Luttman's canon of, or a library, I guess is the proper term, a library of titles, right? And all the other folks that are making games using that system, which there are now many, or systems, Blind Swords, Black Swan, and this, Shattered Union. So very, very easy to get into, very easy to engage with. Some nice structure, lovely structure to the rule books, very clear. I think I mentioned before in my last video, or maybe I just mentioned it in passing and comment to Herman, that there was only one little rule thing that I was unclear on. It was how we were going to resolve a certain differential that was supposed to be calculated for melee or one of the other results for fire combat. And that was the only thing that I had a challenge with. Other than that, very clear and concise, great artwork in the book, great layout. I like this map format. You know, we've lost to Rick Barber now, so the chap that did the artwork here, he's on the back of the box. I'm not going to tip it upside down. And I bet you I can't pronounce his name. Anyway, let's see. I will try and do it. Yeah, okay. It's Jose Farua. I hope I got that correct, sir. Nice job, well done. And the artwork in the rule book, on the box cover and on the counters is very, very nice as well. I did have a look and compare it to the Most Fearful Sacrifice counters, and they are, same size, pretty much the same quality. These ones are a little bit thinner, that's about all. Nice, similar quality of artwork and all the rest of it. So I nearly put them in the wrong box. Very, very similar. And same with the cards. The cards are equal quality as well. So all in all, I've enjoyed it a lot. I do want to get back and play the campaign. I'm looking forward to, there's supposed to be 4 more of these coming out. And I believe there's an alternate history Gettysburg title coming as well, which is something to look forward to. I don't know if Tiny Battle is doing all of those or if they're being planned or to be published by somebody else, but it is clear that the organization and the play testing and everything else was done pretty thoroughly. I didn't catch any errors or wording errors in the rules, and most of everything made great sense to me based on my gameplay here. Like I said, just 6 turns, so it's not like I'm an expert in this system whatsoever. And there was a lot of me just double checking to make sure I wasn't using the rules from a different game. So anyway, good stuff. Highly encourage you to have a look at it. If you're curious about ACW, the American Civil War, this might be a place for you to start. There are many great systems for the American Civil War. I've been a fan of Line of Battle for a while now, despite not having a lot of experience with it. I quite like that system. I've also obviously also enjoyed Luttman's other efforts in this domain, and I would say that that Herman is probably, for my money anyway, given my limited experience with the Civil War, probably probably the leader in bringing high quality, playable, engaging, thematically on point games to the table. And I don't get effusive over games very often because I have high expectations about stuff most of the time. This is good stuff. All right, all the best, and we'll see you all on the flip side, and we'll work out what's next.